Hello everyone and welcome to the final of Grand Prix Malmo 2012 with MagicTheGathering.com and GG's Live. Rashad Miller, Nate Price, Rich Hagan in the booth for you. We've got Dave Barrow from Seal Films. We've also got Frank Carston, Tim Willoughby, Toby Henker on the text. That's the team bringing you the scores on the doors as we get ready for the best of three finals between Oscar Almgren and Matteo Vesari. There is Oscar Almgren. He's got himself to the final. There you see Matteo Vesari, the Italian who bested Samuele Estrati in the quarterfinals. Oscar Almgren just come out of a tough semi-final against Soren Larsen of Denmark. And now we're into the final. Oscar Almgren, black-red aggro. Matteo Vesari, blue-green mid-range with a little red splash. Nate, who do you like and why?
I have no idea. I've been wrong every single time that I thought that I was right. So going into this, I certainly... Oscar Almgren's deck seems better on paper, but I've heard some incredible stories about how Matteo Vesari has won his matches previously, which I'm definitely going to have to check up on the text to see how that happened.
Yes.
It all revolves around his infinite reflections and the infinite ways he's used them to kill his opponents.
Right.
I don't know. Like it seems to me like Vesari's deck, as powerful as it is, still quirky and a little clunky by comparison to Almgren's like seemingly more streamlined deck. But obviously, as I say this, Vesari's on 4 lands, including each of two of his colors, and Almgren has yet to find a mountain. So
yeah. So Almgren is going to lay a third swamp, which may well turn various things on. He may have a Searchlight Geist that he can play at that point. Let's see if that is what comes out. There's a Soul Cage Fiend I notice in hand. It looks like we are going to see a Searchlight Geist. The Elgord Shield Mate will quite happily run past that, one presumes.
yeah.
3 mana now. And out comes the 3/1 Latch Seeker.
I was going to mention this little combo right here. There's nothing quite like creating a 3-powered invisible stalker, effectively by combining the unblockable with the shroud the shield that gives it. It's hexproof. I'm sorry.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
But you've been historical all through the top 8, so
That's true.
we'll sort of let you off.
Might as well continue.
Oscar, you need red. You need red soon. You need to do things,
Yeah.
or you're going to be dead quite soon. So thank you. As you know, let's make the game fair. There's a mountain. So Oscar has things to do. Not in any rush to lay the mountain, mind you.
Yeah. But he wouldn't have drawn it if it weren't for you. Richard Hagan, the advisor to the pros.
Bringer of mountains.
Yeah, it's Bringer of Mountains. I like that even better.
In goes the Searchlight Geist.
The rebirth of Rui Oliveira.
There goes the mountain. 4 mana now. There's a Driver of the Dead. He's already lost 1 Driver of the Dead to not being able to play. Soul Cage Fiend.
That is an interesting play, considering he is
Yes.
facing down 3 power to block. I suppose it trades with the shield bait, which is going to keep that home, but...
Sure, and also, I mean, he potentially can go on offense.
Yeah. This is interesting, because I wonder, like, Matteo doesn't know what's in Oscar's deck. He doesn't know how removal light he is.
Yep.
Spell light he is. And so, I don't know if, I'm wondering how firmly Matteo's going to cling to that shield bait of his.
I mean, if you're facing red-black,
Yep.
you have to assume Deathwind. You have to assume something like a Ghoulflesh.
Yep.
You've certainly got to expect a Thunderous Wrath and a Pillar of Flame.
Yeah. I mean,
Beyond that, maybe a Thunderbolt. But you would think 4 to 5 pieces of actual reach out and touch my guys
yeah.
spells, even in a light removal environment.
Especially considering the fact, like, I sat behind Matteo and watched him draft, and he saw Barter in Blood and multiple copies of the Bone Splinters just cruise on past him around. I mean, I know he played against 1 black-red deck already in Samuel Estrati's deck, but he has to assume that some of those removal spells that he saw passed around would end up in Oscar's deck.
But
Clearly undaunted by the fact that there's now a 3-powered creature on the other side of the table, he sent in with his Sheepmate and his unblockable Hex-proof Latch Seeker and knocked Almgren down to 13, who declined to block, which, again, Mateo is green, and you have to fear the pump spell, but putting out a creature that just hits both players for 3 when it dies, and not tossing it into combat, just seems like a time bomb waiting to happen.
Yeah. So it's very much advantage Vesari at the moment. So Cage Fiend goes in. Vesari looking at 4 cards in hand, one of which is red, which he therefore cannot cast right now.
Alchemist's Apprentice hiding under the sun there?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. So that can get in the way. Sack, draw a card.
Oh, although he's holding a Thunderous Wrath in his hand, so it's possible he wants to keep that around for an opportunity to, after he draws his mountain, and get his opponent on his turn with the Miracle. Okay, yeah. Not gonna get cool, but I think at this point, getting the win is better than being cool. Is that a Hound of Grizzlebrand I see? Here?
It certainly is.
Here, puppy.
Last time I saw a card from top down like that with the sort of the 2 searchlight, what it looks like, it was Stoneforge Mystic.
No. I had no idea what you're talking about. I've never heard of that card in my life.
Okay.
My counsel said it's best if I don't bring these things up.
Yeah.
Well, there's a large amount of evasion that I guess technically Almgren has the ability to block one of them with that Searchlight, guys, but
Not very profitably.
it's not going to happen. This is a clock. 3-power unblockable is no joke, especially when you can't like readily take care of it.
In comes 5. Oscar will say sure, one presumes. But at 8, he's 3 turns away from the end of the line. Vesari looking pretty healthy on 18. There's Mountain. So 6 mana.
Here and you were knocking on the fact that we said blue-green so often over the course of the top 8. There were 4 blue-green decks, and
Well, it's not that surprising that one of them's in the final. Let's not get too... Yeah.
Rats.
Come on, you're a math guy.
Yeah, clearly, you and your math.
Spectral Prism.
Stupid facts.
Ah, hate 'em.
Spectral Prism significantly better than its M12 counterpart Ice Age, considering it requires a spell to target the creature rather than a activated ability. Or any ability, I suppose. Well, Oscar's found himself a 3rd Mountain in a row, which isn't terrible.
The thing is, sure, he can, with 6 mana, he's probably got enough for 2 things. Looks like, for example, Bloodflow Connoisseur, Kessig Malcontents. I believe that's a possible turn here. I mean, Hand of Grizzlebrand has double strike, so the life totals are going to go down somewhat.
Having a way to remove it on your own is pretty solid too.
So
about that.
Through the damage comes land number 6, 3 of each. How does Oscar sculpt out the turn? Well, it looks like he's going to go for the Cruin Striker. That's part 1.
Driver of the Dead to finish this turn out?
No. Interesting.
I just think you want to do that because on the next turn you know you get 6 mana, you can play the 2/3 drops in your hand. Then Tom Salas. What does 4 mana represent in this situation?
I don't understand why you wouldn't play something out there. Well, I mean, 4 mana represents Death Touch on the Searchlight Geist.
Yes.
But I don't see how you're winning that way. I mean, you You trade off for the Scrapskin Drake at the cost of any tempo you might have had over this turn and therefore the following.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, block. Fine, go ahead, give it Death Touch. You're still down to 5, you've put no pressure on.
It's not bad though. I mean, he goes from being on a 1-turn clock to being on a 2-turn clock. Which.
But you dump 2 things onto the table, you take it. I don't know.
I think part of it is he might be setting up for something.
Well, we'll see, because we're close to money time.
Yeah. Alright. Double striking hound is going to be problematic. So, is it a mental agony that he drew there? So could he go?
See, if you made the Blood Flow Connoisseur, could you not have sacrificed the hound, put a counter on the Blood Flow, bring it back? The double strike would then be functionally bigger again this turn.
Yeah, well, I mean, he got the opportunity to do that this turn. Like, I would have thought that he was going to do that instead of playing the striker, but it looks like he wanted to play the striker and get it into play for that extra point of damage from Malcontents.
Yeah, so here is Malcontents.
And now, I mean, he has the
Striker's a bit bigger.
after the fact.
Yeah.
The striker is like a creature that can't effectively be blocked by that Inquisitor or the Shieldmate without dying off. So
Blood Flow Connoisseur.
now the 2/2 double striking Doggy and the 3/1 trampling. +1 +0, right? 3/1 trampling.
Yes.
Human. Vesari goes down, takes it all. That puts him at 5, if I'm not mistaken, right? 4? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Okay.
And I'd like to make that bigger.
Hello. Oh. Oh, okay.
So let's just confirm we're not being silly about what Shieldmate and giving Hexproof does. Just making sure exactly what the deal is with targeting things, and
Oh, yeah.
because people are always asking.
They can't be the target of spells or abilities your opponents control.
And that's the little bit that's important,
Yeah.
because that's you and that's your opponent over there. So Matteo Vesari takes it, leads by 1-0. He began this top 8 by defeating Pro Tour champion in Modern from Philadelphia 2011. That's Samuel Estrati, who will be at the Players' Championship. There you see the bracket. And he advanced past Perez Limas Montal with his blue-green Soulbond deck, 2-0. And then here we are in the final, 1 game away from an Italian Grand Prix champion once again. Meanwhile, Oscar Almgren, who don't really feel his deck particularly performed in game 1, will be looking to get aggressive, as the bracket suggests to you.
Are aggressive.
Wow.
Gotcha.
So, we're going to send Nate packing because we've had enough of him, basically. We do still love you, Nate. No, we do, really.
I can tell.
And
I kept your seat warm for you, sir.
the man who has spent
Thank you very much.
many hours on live Magic TV here at magicthegathering.com and GG's Live, the Hall of Famer, Frank Carsten. Frank, it's been an epic and grueling top 8.
Yeah, I think we just checked at what time we sent in the last feature for the Swiss rounds, which was somewhere in the afternoon, already like 5 hours ago or something like that. The top 8 has been taking a long time.
Sure, but not that anyone's been playing particularly slowly. They've just been the function of the decks, some tricky combat math, and a couple of decks, particularly in the quarterfinals, that just didn't know when to lie down and die. That was fantastic. Genuinely, if you have plenty of time and you're thinking, okay, I'm watching the finals back on a YouTube clip or whatever, do go back to the quarterfinal between Jasper Grimmer and Soren Larsen. Kick back, get yourself a nice comfy chair, settle in. It's genuinely some terrific Magic across 3 games. Really did enjoy it. I've ruined it for them. I told them it was 3 games now. Anyway.
No, but they were really excellent games. Gruelingly long, with like sort of the harvest coming down, drawing almost an entire deck. Was just amazing Magic. But that deck did not end up in the finals.
Whichever one of them won. I think people are going to know by the time they see it if they haven't already. But it is well worth a watch, a really terrific game. So here we go with game 2 of the final. Almgren on the play, looking to be aggressive. Vesari will have the first play, however, and it is Ulvenwald Tracker.
Yeah, just a 1/1, but if Oscar does not find an answer to it anytime soon, and assuming that Matteo does have some other creature to go with it, the Ulvenwald Tracker is just going to dominate this game, allowing Matteo to basically shoot down any creature that Oscar might play.
I wonder whether we've just seen the Grand Prix 1 on turn 1.
It could actually be possible, yeah, as long as Matteo does have some creatures to go with it. And looking at Oscar's hand, do we spot any removal spell in it somewhere?
No, that's because Oscar doesn't have any spells. Pretty much, almost literally none. Soul Cage Fiend comes down.
Yeah, the best Oscar can do is to just play a bunch of creatures and hope that Matteo doesn't have like a 4/4 or something. So far, it's working.
Yep. Alchemist's Apprentice arrives on set. It's one of the downsides to the creature feature deck. It's when you suddenly find a threat that's a real effort to deal with. It's like, yeah, you've just turned off 12 of my 19 creatures, thanks.
Yeah.
At a conservative estimate.
I mean, if there is one creature in the entire format that you really need to kill, it might be Ulvenwald Tracker. Well, as long as Matteo finds a creature to go with it, of course. And he's using his Alchemist Apprentice to dig deeper in his deck in search of that.
Kessig Malcontents for Almgren.
Yeah, no other humans to go with it yet, but it adds some pressure, a lot of damage when it enters the battlefield. And yeah, Matteo still cannot really find...
Alchemist number 2?
Well, he finds an Alchemist, but not really a big creature to pair with this Ulvenwald Tracker.
So he fired the first Apprentice, took on another one. I don't think much of this one's chances either, to be perfectly honest. I see it getting in the way of some angry malcontents quite soon. Let's see if that's what happens. Yep, that's the attack.
Now Matteo could just block the Kessig Malcontents, but he could also just block the Soul Cage Fiend and then use the Ulvenwald Tracker to, well, basically trade off the 3/1 against the 1/1 after all. But now,
with Soul Cage Fiend blocked. Oh,
yeah, preventing some damage.
That's so naughty, really. Watching the track, it's all very well.
And that's the least of what Ulvenwald Tracker can do.
Sure, I mean it's all very well when you know theoretically the way a card can work, but when the first time you actually sort of see it do things like that, and as you say, we're still in the early game. It was doing it with a 1/1. Oh, Heirs of Stromkirk, Intimidate, 2/2.
This was the card that won Oscar basically his semi-finals. The Intimidate class can be, well, game winning all by itself when playing against, say, a deck without any red cards.
Now, Mad Prophet.
Okay, that's a red card.
Sure. It's 2/2. And currently no extra land for Vesari, so no way to activate the tracker this turn. If Oscar has a little window here, because if he can get rid of the profit, he can potentially get in, get the heirs up to 3. Does he possibly have a way to get rid of a mad profit? Because that seems to be the answer here for him.
Well, he didn't have any removal spells in his deck, right?
Basically not. No, very, very little. His spells are extremely limited. He's going to... there's going to be a block there.
Yeah, Matteo needs to trade off the mad profit against the...
Discard a mountain draw.
Yep. Against the Intimidate creature before it gets out of hand quickly.
Yeah, but that's miserable news for Oscar, because there was a possible route there, if he could somehow get it through once, that he might be able to sort of race his way. Now that's not bad. Hound of Grizzlebrand, of course, giving you the fact with its Undying, the first time the fight happens, it'll come back.
Matteo still finds himself at 16 life.
And doesn't have a 5th mana still.
No.
And going to use up his green for Scrapskin Drake.
And the fact that he plays that creature signals that he doesn't really have any better place in his hand, because it's a creature that cannot even block any of Oscar's creatures. It's better than nothing, of course, but...
Not by a lot in this situation. Not currently, but Oscar doing what the Black-Red aggro deck wants to do, be aggressive. Turn everything you've got sideways as often as your opponent will allow you to. I think we're going to see an action replay, the second Heirs of Stromkirk.
Yeah, I'm starting to doubt whether this game will come down to the Ulvenwald tracker, because Matteo does not... Okay, well, he finds a 5th land finally now. Will he be able to do something good with it?
Yeah, he's got 3 mana functionally available. Ah, okay, so Spectral Prison for the Hound. He has the ability to kill off the heirs by fighting with the Scrapskin Drake.
Yep.
The fact that the Drake will live is kind of incidental at the moment. The key point is that your guy dies, the Heirs of Stromkirk will hit the graveyard.
True, it might matter that the Drake lives to, say,
Sure.
fight off the Soul Cage Fiend later on.
It can't, because it only block flies.
No, but it can fight courtesy of Ulvenwald.
In that case, sure. Yes. Actually fight, rather than get involved in combat. So there we go, no mucking around. While you're tapped out, let's just get this thing done. No chance to pump, no chance to do anything. Make it dead. So Soul Cage Fiend faces an untapped board, a tapped board rather.
And it's going to be able to put Matteo down to 6 life. 3 functionally, if you factor in that the Soul Cage Fiend is going to die at some point during the game.
I think Oscar might be racing. Here we go. Yeah. And there's Bloodflow Connoisseur, which means the Soul Cage Fiend will die at some point of Oscar's choosing. Oh. I mean, I'm all for going home, but hey, wouldn't it be great to see a game 3 after that turn on Ulvenwound Tracker?
I wouldn't be surprised to get it here. Oscar is making the best of the situation that he can, just putting down threats. And Matteo might have a grip full of cards and an amazing Ulvenwald tracker in play. He just does not have access to enough lands to be able to leverage all of those cards. And as long as Matteo keeps on stumbling basically, and Oscar keeps on asking the questions, putting creatures on the board, yeah, he might actually be able to take down this game. So Matteo pondering his options here. Of course, he can use Ulvenwald Tracker to make Scrapskin Drake trade against the Soul Cage Fiend, or perhaps the Bloodflow Connoisseur. Tapping 1 red mana. What's he up to?
Vesari.
Matteo does have a lot of big creatures in his deck though. Looking at his deck list, I see cards like Forced Claw and Pathbreaker Worm.
Okay.
Ah, Mistraven.
Mistraven to send the Soul Cage Fiend away. So, do you want to have it back and replay it, or do you want to sacrifice it to Bloodflow Connoisseur now?
Interesting. Wouldn't that... I'm guessing, given that Oscar still has a lot of cards in his hand,
He pulls the trigger now?
that he's going to play over the course of the next couple of turns.
Yeah.
He might very well pull the trigger now, trying to make his Bloodflow Connoisseur as big as possible and able to, well, attack past Matteo's team. I'm actually wondering a bit why Matteo decided to target Soul Cage Fiend and not Bloodflow Connoisseur. That might have seemed like a better play to me, because he can just block the Soul Cage Fiend with his Mistraven if need be, but the Bloodflow Connoisseur is going to grow pretty large relatively quickly.
He won't do, yes.
Matteo won't be able to block it with his Mistraven and live probably.
We've also got up at the top of the screen that Spectral Prison is now looking a little less fabulous.
Yeah, that creature can just be eaten by the Bloodflow Connoisseur.
So, how about Undying, eh? Let's do that. Hiding under Spectral Prison. Hound of Grizzlebrand. Not only a counter on Bloodflow Connoisseur, but back we come. Big and tasty. We're going to have a third game, Frank. You know that, don't you? You also know that there's only the cleaners and us left in the room. We're in a gigantic sports stadium, and I'm not kidding, it's us and the cleaners, and you at home, and we're glad to have you with us. Boy, we'd feel silly if no one was watching. So, Guise of Fire, is that?
Yeah, Matteo is probably hoping that Oscar does not have another creature, since then he will be able to block the Bloodflow Connoisseur with Mistraven and Trades.
4 mana, Undead
but that's not going to
Executioner,
work.
kill off the Mistraven, let's go again.
And
Turn 1 Overwhelmed Tracker, I don't think so, says Oscar Almgren. He's going the distance. At the start of the quarterfinals, all those seats behind Oscar Almgren were full. Not quite, but...
At least there were more people in the room still.
Yeah, we see Ciro Bonaventura in the background just walking away for a quick breather before the deciding game, supporting his countryman from Italy, Matteo Vesari. You'll be able to read the play-by-play on this from Tim Willoughby. And for those of you wanting to hear his dulcet tones, he's been a little bit poorly today, not had much of a voice at all. And as you can probably tell, having a voice kind of important on these occasions, because we only had the, where are we? Just coming up to the 12 hours of live coverage so far, although we had the drafts in between. So,
it's been a long day, and it's all going to come down to, well, the very last game of this tournament.
Okay. How do you, as a player, because you've played in a lot of high pressure matches, you're not someone I think of as particularly suffering from pressure at any point, but nonetheless, how do you center yourself for a game like this when so much pure information has gone in and out of your brain since yesterday morning? When this is round 19 functioning, around 18 of a tournament, and it's 1-1.
Basically trying not to think too much about the consequences of what this match is going to be. Yeah, it's a match with a GP title on the line, but you're probably already really tired from 2 days of play. If you start focusing on all kinds of things that are, well, tangent to the game at hand, you start to lose your concentration. So just getting completely in the zone, thinking about this match and this match only, not about who's around you, who's watching you, what's going on, just trying to find the right place and concentrating on that.
Well, Matteo Vesari will have thought he had a Grand Prix winning play on turn 1 of game 2. It was Ulvenwald Tracker. Oscar had almost no way to interact with it.
Wasn't good enough though, because Matteo could not find any of his big creatures quickly enough to be able to take advantage of the Ulvenwald Tracker.
And over the shoulder there, there's Oscar Almgren, but on our previous shot, you see over all the Italians. They are all there, all in the shot, including Samuele Strati. And Matteo just seems completely unperturbed. And so does Oscar. They're both in their first top 8s. They have acquitted themselves admirably. They are both qualified now for Pro Tour return to Ravnica, which will be in Seattle, and Oscar is going to Mulligan.
Yeah, I think he had a hand with no lands at all. Yeah, that's just an instant mulligan.
Yes.
Yeah, you'd rather even have like a 7 spell opening hand in that spot, rather than some questionable like 1 or 2 lander.
Yeah, you can't get that wrong, can you?
Yeah, exactly, and you don't have to exert any additional mental energy to think about that. You can save it for the difficult decisions that are going to happen in the game.
I must say, one of the things that came out of this weekend for me, and spending so much time with you here in the booth, is the number of times, and you didn't precisely word it this way, but you talked a lot about working out why your opponents were doing what your opponents were doing. A lot of people spend their time thinking, what is he doing? But you spend a lot of time thinking about why is he doing what's he doing. You talk about, oh, that was a suspicious play. He will know that something's coming. He can see this is being set up for something. Here comes this. He will know about this that could be on the way. You are very acutely aware of what the opponent's doing. That's something I've learnt this weekend from listening to you and watching you watch people play Magic. That's been in some senses a revelation, just how much you are thinking about why they're doing what they're doing.
It's true. Well, it becomes kind of a second nature after a while, but
only if you're good.
And have played many games of Magic and know how a typical game of Magic happens. But basically, I always try to figure out what my opponent has in his hand, because that knowledge can help me to make the right plays.
Yeah.
And just from little things like Matteo kept his hand and makes a 2-drop. Well, okay, that doesn't really tell me too much, to be honest yet. Could still be anything in Matteo's hand. But for example, if Matteo would keep his hand and then not make a play on any of the first couple of turns, I would start thinking, yeah, he must, what's the reason he kept his hand? He must have something, maybe Guy Snatch or something like that. And that kind of mentality can definitely help you to figure out what's going on in the game.
What's going on here is that Guys of Fire has taken out the Cruin. And that means Wandering Wolf can get in unmolested and will be joined by Alchemist's Apprentice here in the final game of Grand Prix Malmo 2012.
Oscar is probably not happy at this point, as he doesn't seem to have a third land.
At least the Alchemist is only 1 power, so there's a little bit more time to maneuver with that.
I think he has Scolding Devil and Lightning Mauler in play. Yeah, he can play the Scolding Devil and then, what the Alchemist Apprentice.
Got to bring out the Lightning.
Yeah, because it will allow him to trade with Wandering Wolf.
Yep.
At least I'm guessing he is hoping to, he might also be just hoping to draw a swamp and then not block with Lightning Mauler. Even though he is a bit on the ropes, with no lands in sight and his opponent attacking him.
Yep.
But Oscar must have decided that the best way to win this game is to just hope that you draw a swamp now. And given that you are going to draw a swamp, then keep the Lightning Mauler in place so you can use its Soulbound.
Yeah. So he takes 3 and goes to 15. Oh, is it all going to just fritter away for the sake of a land? Wandering Wolf and Alchemist's Apprentice. Small crumb of comfort. No turn 4 play from Matteo Vesari.
Yeah, Oscar must be thinking. Well, I'm guessing Oscar is not thinking, man, I'm so unlucky not to draw a land here. It's all going downhill. I'm thinking that Oscar must be going over the possible ways he can still win this game in his head. Like thinking, okay, now if there's a swamp on top and another swamp on top, given that, what's the best play I can make right now in this situation? And he decides just to play the Scalding Devil and keep the Lightning Mauler back on the defense.
Now, he's been presented with the option to block, and there is a block, but we're going to see Joint Assault. Yep. So, yes, because it's up to 2, it's, you know, as it were, it's like it can just be, it's only one thing. So the Lightning Mauler is gone, the Wandering Wolf is still there. Please draw a swamp.
And there it is.
That's better. Let's play some Magic, boys and girls. That's what we want for all the people who've been watching with us over the last 12 hours. A match worthy of the final game of GP Malmo.
Note also that Oscar is not immediately dumping the swamp in play like, yes, I
Windmill
drew the swamp, there it is, finally.
Yeah, that's us. We're doing that. He's like, yes, there's the swamp, it was always going to be there.
Yeah, okay, so now let's see what the best play is. Okay, attack with the Scalding Devil, not give out any information yet before I attack. And then only after the attack play the swamp and my black creature that I was going to cast.
So there's the Bloodflow Connoisseur for Oscar. And Timberland Guide. Let's make my Wandering Wolf a bit bigger and a bit harder to block.
Indeed, a very nice combination of cards.
Currently impossible because even if Bloodflow Connoisseur gets bigger through Scalding Devil, it'll still only be 2/2, and the Wandering Wolf will have 3 power. So that's what's come in. Wouldn't mind seeing some more land, truthfully. And that's a Hound of Grizzlebrand. So now, does Oscar have any other plays at 3 in his hand?
Looks like he had a bunch of 4 casting cost cards in his hands.
Yeah,
no play right now.
Passing the turn. Matteo 12 life points away from an Italian Grand Prix title. In we go. I can tell you, in this cavernous arena that is now genuinely virtually empty, if Vesari wins, you are going to hear a gigantic roar from an Italian contingent. This place is going to sound like the Colosseum if Vesari can pull this one off. Oscar, what's on the top? You're not looking for a miracle, you're looking for a very mundane thing. It's called basic land.
Swamp, please.
Oh no. Still not. He's got a Searchlight Geist so he can play something.
But it still won't. It still won't be able to block the Wandering Wolf.
But
unless
he could go all in, couldn't he? He can sacrifice both his guys.
Yep, it's possible.
But boy, does he get blown out.
But
with
then
the
he
trick.
trade his entire board against the Wandering Wolf.
Yeah, but then he's only facing 2. Well, still there's the old good Shoemade as well. It's a horrible, horrible risk. But the alternative is to watch yourself go 6-3 and 0. Right? I mean, that's what he's currently facing.
Well,
So,
he does have the option of, or at least the hope to draw a land on the next turn, and then use his 4th land to basically cast a creature that can deal with the Wandering Wolf.
Here come some boys.
Yeah, Matteo now also attacking with his lowly 1/1s, knowing that, sure, Oscar can make his Bloodline Connoisseur a bit bigger and block it off, but that's not going to be the end of the world. Note that Matteo did not attack with his 2/3, the Shield Mate, because if that one would have attacked, Oscar would have been able to profitably block it with a 3/3 Bloodflow Connoisseur. So Wandering Wolf still dealing 3 damage to Oscar, putting him down to 6 life. And Pathbreaker Worm.
Pathbreaker Worm.
Oh, Trample. And Hexproof, so not that Oscar has removal in his deck, but...
Any second now, Matteo Vesari is going to be your Grand Prix Malmo champion for 2012. It's another creature. Almgren has battled nobly throughout this top 8, but he is done. Matteo Vesari sits patiently waiting. Past the turn from Oscar, he's going to make Vesari turn them sideways for one last tournament winning time. Matteo Vesari, this is your moment. Out comes Mad Prophet. It has haste. I am going to turn this sideways, this sideways, this sideways, this sideways, and this gigantic trampler. And there's the hand, there's the war, Italy goes wild, and Matteo Vesari is the first Grand Prix champion of the 2012-2013 season, and he cannot believe it. There he goes. He puts his hand in the air. He can't believe he's done it. There you see the trophy. Congratulations to him. Outstanding magic. It took him so long just to be able to sit down in the final to play against Oscar Almgren. But in the end, blue, green, red, mid-range. There's nothing mid-range about a Pathbreaker Worm on the Trample Warpath. And by 2 games to 1, Matteo Vesari is your champion of Grand Prix Malmo 2012.